Alright, so Bungie did the thing that Bungie always does. They released a brand new archetype and then released too many of them at once and made one completely obsolete, despite trying to make a difference by putting one in one slot and the other in the other slot. So we got the Phoneutria Fera and the Neutralizer. Basically, we're just going to get this out of the way. This is the big elephant in the room, the stats. So when you look at just their stats on paper, the Phoneutria Fera has 35 range, where the Neutralizer has 25. Fera has 40 stability, but Neutralizer has 14. Handling on Fera is 35, and on Neutralizer it's 23. But the reload speed on Fera is 25, and the Neutralizer is 23. If you haven't noticed the trend, it seems to be lacking significantly in every single stat compared to the Fera, except for reload speed, where it is only behind 2, and then aim assist, where it actually wins by 3 at a total of 68 on the Neutralizer, whereas the Fera only has 65. The zoom on the Neutralizer is less at 12, whereas Fera is 14. The airborne effectiveness on Fera is 23 and Neutralizer is 20, and the ammo regen on Fera is 56, whereas Neutralizer is 54. On paper, look at both of these weapons. The Fera is statistically better in every way, shape, or form to the Neutralizer. So why would you use the Neutralizer? The Neutralizer does offer some perks that the Phoneutria Fera does not. So when I just click through real quick and I'm looking at these perks that are on both these weapons, I'm going to scroll down here. I'm going to pull them both up. You guys should be able to see both of them while I'm looking at them. So they have the same barrels and mags, or they have the same mags, sorry. The difference is they have different barrels, which I think is strange. The Nutria Fera has just normal barrels on light.gg, whereas the Neutralizer has the barrels of a shotgun. So not sure if that's actually accurate because the servers are down, so I can't actually check my rolls. I will try to confirm that. But they both have access to accurized rounds, so one doesn't have high cal or ricochet. That'd be insane if this thing had ricochet. So what makes one of these better than the other? The Fera honestly feels like it's a half-assed solar weapon, or it's trying to be your weapon for PvP. And I know that's kind of controversial just because of the fact that it doesn't have any good damaging perks in that final column. But I will talk about why I think it's better in Crucible. And in column 1, of course, it has Threat Detector and Slide Shot, which is going to give you either A, a ton of range, or B, a ton of handling, whichever one you prefer. As well as it has access to Barrel Constrictor, which is Final Blows, reduce the spread. Normally on a shotgun, we don't like that because you don't want to kill because it consumes your special ammo. This isn't a special ammo weapon, so it's actually pretty useful. And then you also have Threat Remover, where dealing damage with all pellets reduce your spread again and increase your reload, handling, and stability. So again, not really a bad perk, but I still think I would go Slide Shot or Threat Detector over either of those personally. And then in the final column, it has Swashbuckler, which was the main perk I was looking at, thinking, oh, if you get a melee kill, you can one-tap somebody. You can't. There is a way to one-tap with the Neutralizer, and we'll go over that in a second. But this one has access to 1-2 punch. And because it has such high stats, it has 1-2 punch. You can hit 1-2 punch, and if you have enhance, you don't have to hit all 12 of your pellets. I think you have to hit 10 of them, and then you will be able to do more melee damage. And on these weapons specifically, I believe it's 75% and not 150. So basically, instead of 2-tapping someone and possibly running into a 3-tap because damage fall off exists, as long as you hit that shot, like all the pellets in that shot, it doesn't matter if you want to follow it with another shot or not. You now have 1-2 punch, and your melee does 75% more damage, or whatever the buff is inside of PvP. So it's easy to get that, pop melee. Now, that's what Pharah does inside of PvP. In PvE, It has access to proximity
Five
power,
minutes
which is
remaining.
when targets are nearby, final blows grant melee stat, which I guess could be cool for a 1-2 punch build or a swashbuckler build. But it also has access to frenzy and incandescent. I'm always a big fan of frenzy. Frenzy is literally just free damage for nothing, and then that's also going to give you a ton of bonus reload speed just for having frenzy proc. So I would go something like proximity power because you're using a shotgun hand cannon. You're going to be in the thick of it. You're going to be surrounded by people anyways, so you can get your melee back faster. Now, incandescent, I love incandescent. This thing's really good at killing trash tier ads, so incandescent's not bad. I just like incandescent with heal clip most of the time because I just like killing trash
Let your
enemies
enemy
and
take this
reloading
without a
for
fight.
health. Granted, I can't say I wouldn't just use heal clip frenzy because then I get my heal clip off even faster. But it doesn't have access to heal clip, so as far as being like the solar weapon or shotgun hand cannon, they will eventually make a better one. So for me, in PvE, personally, I would just pass on this because Neutralizer I think is better for PvE, which I think is very strange because it's a Crucible only weapon, but we'll get into that. So it has access to Barrel Constrictor, Grave Robber, Lone Wolf, Threat Detector, Threat Remover, Proximity Power, and Vorpal Weapon in column 1, which means you can use things like Vorpal Weapon along with, I don't know, Cascade Point. And Vorpal Weapon on a shotgun hand cannon should be 20% extra damage inside of PvE. I say should be because it's a primary, and I actually have tested it because I couldn't get one drop because Bungie hates me. And then Cascade Point is going to be you can fire your weapon significantly faster for 5 seconds with the buff active, which is scoring
3 minutes
a
remaining.
kill or
Your
multiple
turn.
precision hits within 5 seconds of each other with a different weapon. So you kill something with your other weapon, you can swap to this, and then you can proc Cascade Point along with Warpable, and you can honestly, since your other weapon isn't going to be a hand cannon and this one is, run this with Lucky Pants. So you're going to get Lucky Pants
First
boosted
place.
with
For that
Vorpal
win,
Weapon boosted,
I
and then
choose a
the
massacre.
fire rate of Cascade Point. It sounds
Your
stupid,
spirit is
powerful.
unrivaled.
So
Show me
that's definitely
more.
the role I would look out for. And that's why I say I think this is the PvE one. And you could argue that this could also be the PvP one, as it has access to Lone Wolf, which is a really good perk. It also has access to Trench Barrel, which I'm not going to get into it, but Trench Barrel, for some reason, can one shot people
Strength
inside
in
of
numbers,
PvP
Guardian.
with Throw a Knife Hunter.
Excellent.
Cross did a whole video on it. I think it's super niche. So for me personally, I'm not even going to talk about it because you have to. That's like a skill gap that I'm not even remotely close to. So I'm not going to expect my viewers to really be. But if that's something that you're interested in, check it out. As Cross has a video on it. So Lone Wolf with Adagio, that's going to give you more range, more damage, and again, that's going to be like you get a kill and then you can tap somebody melee and you're going to kill them. It also has access to 1-2 punch, so you can still do that. You also have opening shot. Me personally, I have the opening shot roll, which is like what you're seeing in some of this footage, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't know what Bungie was really thinking with this hand cannon
Tell them to
because the
line up
stats
faster.
just aren't great, especially to be a weapon that should be for PvP, considering it comes from the pinnacle PvP activity. This weapon should be so much better than it is. It just doesn't have the stats to feel like it's really worth grinding out for me unless I wanted a PvE role. Because for PvP, I would much rather use my Fera, which I have snagged significantly more two taps on than the neutralizer. The neutralizer's range leaves a lot to be desired. Same thing goes for the handling. On top of the fact, I feel like it spreads different. Maybe that's just because it has such a fast damage fall off. Maybe it has something to do with the barrels. I don't know. I don't even know if anyone at Bungie knows that they did that or if it was intentional or not. But maybe that makes a difference. I'm not really sure. There's something about this one that doesn't feel as good as the other one, and the big difference is their stats and the fact that this has completely different barrels, which again might not actually affect it, but it might be affecting the spread because if this is more coded as a shotgun, it might have a different spread because of the barrels. I'm not really sure what would be the big thing that would be affecting it, but it definitely feels significantly different, and I really hate it because these are both Hake weapons. Like, they should very easily be on similar grounds, but they're just not. And I'm really disappointed in the fact that Bungie made such a bad Crucible weapon. Like, it's in Crucible, it should be for Crucible, and it's just bad in general, and it's very disappointing to me. That being said, Trials does have some really good PvP weapons, and I will get into those whenever I get more of them. I'm actually, like, as soon as the servers are back up, I'm working on one of the other weapons because I really enjoy it, and hopefully I can have that video out to you guys soon. Anyways, with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you did enjoy, be sure to hit that like button if you're new, consider subscribing and click the notification bell so you get notified when I make new videos, because I make new videos like this all of the time. Let me know what you guys think about the Neutralizer and the Phoneutria Fera. Which one do you guys prefer? Why? Were you even able to get a Neutralizer to drop? Were you able to get a decent Fera before Arms Week was over, since it was only a week activity? If you guys did enjoy this video, it really helps me out if you share it. Also, if you guys want to support me directly, the best way to do that is to go to Advanced GG and use my code CRIM10 at checkout and get yourself some Advanced GG. I'm a big fan of their energy and their hydration flavors. I wouldn't promote it if it was something that I didn't actually use. So I use Advanced. I love Advanced. That's why I work with them and have a code set up with them. And you can also become a member to the channel, but I'm currently behind a lot on the YouTube stuff, so there's no perks. So that would just be purely for support. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video, whatever it may be. Stay tuned for tons of content. We're pumping out 2 videos a week, bare minimum. See you guys in the next one.
Double down.